Hello and welcome back to LDC FM. You're tuning into our podcast featuring interviews with our community of independent designers and industry guests. We'll be discussing topics of sustainability, conscious design, the future of fashion, tech, and innovation. This podcast has been recorded alongside an Instagram Live, so apologies for any technical issues prior to tuning in. Thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Rebecca and I'm the founder and CEO of Lone Design Club, and I'm back again today. I've got quite a busy series of lives this week, it seems, but I'm back again today with a really exciting and special guest. Ronke Adeyemi from Brown Beauty Talk will be joining me any moment. So we're just going to let Ronke come in and then she'll be joining me, hopefully any moment. And then once she's in, we're going to have a really great discussion today. So we've started working a lot more with beauty brands, and today we're going to have a great talk about beauty for small businesses. What's happening at the moment? We're going to talk about sustainability. We're going to talk about Black Lives Matter, and we're going to talk about what's happening in the industry and what we can see. So hopefully, if Ronke is able to join the live, and then any moment we should be able to get started. Let's see. Just what's going on. Any moment we should be able to get started. Great. Okay. Here we go. And if Ronke just requests to be, clicks the little red bar that comes up. If you just request to join. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Okay. Clicks the little red. Here we go. This is just connecting. Little notification bar that comes. Here we go. Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Yourself? It's a bit blurry here. So it's a bit blurry because I'm down in the basement. So.
No, don't worry. I feel blurry as well today. I don't know why. Maybe it could just be that kind of day. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Our phones are probably just exactly a blurry day. We'll go with that. So
whereabouts are you guys based?
Sorry?
Where are you based?
So I'm currently in the back of one of our shops. Yeah, I'm on the King's Road, right at the back, out the way. So I'm nice and quiet. Running around like a mad woman these days. So currently basing myself here. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome.
It's super exciting. So yeah, we're really excited. As I'm sure as you know a little bit of, we're getting more and more into beauty. And so it's a privilege to have you on the show, somebody such an expert in that sphere. And I know Laura had been talking to you and like with Min Cosmetics. So yeah, I think we're really excited to hear more about your knowledge and expertise and advice for small brands. Yeah, no, it's great. So yeah, let's get started. If you can tell me a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background and your journey coming to set up Brown Beauty Talk.
Okay, I've been working in marketing for over 10 years, and I started blogging about 10 years ago. I've always kind of liked writing, always liked reading, so the blog scene was perfect for me. I could write, upload, and get that instant gratification. And then when I started going to events, I started going to beauty events, and then started networking with people online and offline. And I kind of realised that there wasn't really a space for Black women in the UK to come together and talk about beauty. I mean, there was lots of like references from the States, nothing that was very much UK based. So we started a discussion on Twitter that happened every Sunday. To come together and talk about all sorts of things, from foundation, how to go natural, maybe you should go natural, lipsticks, anything that sort of like, met our heart desires. We talk about that on Sunday. And that developed quite a huge following. And I thought, well, we need another platform. So I thought, why don't we just have a website? So we launched a website about over 5 years ago, and it's been going strong ever since, sort of strengthened the brand. And from there, we kind of evolved into events as well. So we work with brands and do outreach events at bloggers, anything they wanted to launch. And then we kind of started doing the newsletter as well. So our following started developed quite a lot. And then also the Instagram started to work as well. So that's been our journey in the last 5 years. So it's been kind of interesting. We took a break for 6 months because I kind of got to the point where it was just being a little bit too much going on. I needed a little bit of a breather. So we figured we'd launch in March, but we kept on putting it forward and forward. So we launched on the 1st of June, which is coincidentally when everything exploded. So that really was perfect timing for us. At first I was like, oh my God, it's going to clash. No one's taking notes of us. But then it did. It was a perfect time to launch because everyone wanted that kind of information. And they were coming to us. So it kind of worked out very well.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So officially you've only been launched, like, not even a month.
Relaunched at 6
Relaunched,
months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's been very exciting.
Yeah, that's super exciting. And so tell me a little bit more about the past month. Obviously it's been, we've had, for the past couple of months we came into the pandemic, which, really shook the world. And now this past month, as you said, that it's been a huge amount of reflection, of thought, of consideration, of action, and change. How has that, and obviously you've relaunched your business. Walk me through these past few weeks. This must be a lot.
Okay, we've gone out of like rebranding because we rebranded as a company. Our logo, our whole look changed. We went from a black logo to very pink and very girly. And we also rebranded the website. So we kind of started doing a lot more blog. We were doing a lot of blog related information, product reviews and interviews. But we kind of went over to roundups of like the top 10 makeup artists, the top 10 makeup palets, fantastic skincare brands, which kind of coincided to the kind of information that people wanted, because obviously with the Black Lives Matter, that kind of propelled all the black beauty brands. People wanted to know who they were. People wanted to know if there were any out there they like, and we had that insight. So it was literally like bring on that kind of information and give everybody what they wanted. So it kind of like made us a little bit more, kind of like sort of like made people be aware of what we were doing.
Yeah, which is great. And you must have, like you've been bombarded. You must have so many incredible responses. Yeah, and it must be so good. So many people.
It was just very lightly. In a way, it was kind of like reading for us to sort of know what kind of brands were out there. I mean, the hard thing for me was really shortlisting who's to leave out. There were so many. Even for us, it was like, oh, I didn't know these makeup nail polish brands existed. I didn't know these eyelash brands existed, or these skincare brands. And every time we write a post, we'd be like, oh, hang on a minute, wait, we've got 2 more brands that we've actually just found and add them as well. So it was kind of like really sort of like heightened our brands and made people be a bit more aware about who we are.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's amazing. It's really exciting. And I did have a quick look on your website before before this, and you've got some beautiful brands. You've got some really amazing brands. The imagery is so beautiful as well. Tell us a little bit about the brands.
Also what's changed. That's changed quite a lot because our imagery wasn't as great as it could have been. It very much sort of like let us down. So the aim this time was to really get the website looking fantastic.
It looks really beautiful.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about the brands that you're promoting and working with.
We spent time working with a lot of skincare brands because with skincare, you kind of think, oh, well, you've either got oily, dry, or normal skin. But black skin needs a little bit more attention. We've got different needs. Like we suffer from hyperpigmentation. We could also suffer from dry skin, and also there's sun exposure. There's a lot of re-education that needs to be done regarding black skin because our melanin doesn't protect us, so we do need sun care. So there's been a lot of re-education. So there's a lot of skincare brands that are amazing, and also a lot of usual hair care brands as well that are also doing great things. And then there's also quite a lot of makeup brands out there as well, really exciting brands. We've got quite large ones like Pat McGrath and cool ones like Envy and Flow. We've also got little small ones like Funky, those kind of brands that are doing fantastic things. And then also, this week we've published a post on Black British nail polish brands. So that was quite exciting. So we're kind of like learning ourselves about different brands that are out there. And it's all about sort of pulling that movement of beauty brand owners and kind of getting them into the public consciousness, because even they turned around and sort of said, I didn't realise there are other people like me doing nail polish, or there are other skincare brands as well. So it's about educating the whole market as well.
Definitely. No, I think that's incredible. And in light, so let's talk a little bit about the Black Lives Matter movement then. So in light of this, obviously we need to see some serious changes around the world. and in the industry is definitely changes that at LDC that we are making and looking to make. It's very much a period right now of reflection, thought, conversations, as much as we can do to learn and understanding. But what I'd be really curious is, where do you think beauty is heading in the post-Blackout Tuesday?
Okay, from a practical element, it's going to be interesting to see what happens on the shop floor. Because people talking about beauty on the shop floor, retail-wise, are used to watching and dabbing and trying, testing out products on your skin. But whether that's going to be allowed, whether people are going to want to do that, I'm not quite sure. But on the good side, it means that online platforms will boom, because they'll get people, ordering lots of stuff on their actual platforms. And also in return to that, they'll also come across different brands as well that they've never heard of. I've spoken to quite a few Black British brand owners, and they said that they've had a massive spike in interest and sales as well. So the knowledge is out there. I think also the beauty industry is going to become a lot more democratic than it was before, because it became a little bit more of a fair play game when the blogging industry exploded about 5 years ago. Now it's going to become even more even keel. There's going to be a lot of brands out there that come a little bit more obvious that they're going to want to shop with as well. So I think it's going to kind of change in that way. So it's exciting times ahead, I say.
It really is. It really is. And I just keep thinking, what an amazing time to relaunch. Like, it's...
No, exactly, yeah. Can't complain at all. It's all been very positive as well in terms of like the interest in beauty. I think now brands are going to think a bit more about how they hire people, hopefully, because with the Black Lives Matter movement, you also had the Pull Up campaign as well, where a lot of people in America are asking American brands to sort of explain how many Black employees they have, which they'll do in the States. And a lot of brands actually did respond. And a lot of brands just sort of say, well, listen, I know that we don't have as many Black employees as we should do, but we're going to rectify this. And these are the actions we're going to do by this amount of date. So I think that's really kind of like causing a massive revolution against, not only beauty brands, but also brands like Adidas and brands like Starbucks as well. So it's going to be, I think it's been a bit of a massive shift in the air as well. It's made people think a lot more about the way they're hiring, the way they're working. And made them be a little bit more open-minded.
Definitely, and I think it's so important that we are making these changes now. It's something we've spoken in LDC about a lot recently as well. Is we kind of realize, we use the words responsible and conscious, and we've really pushed the whole sustainability and ethics. But we kind of had a discussion the other day, and we're using the words responsible and we're using the words conscious, which is so much more than just sustainable and ethical. What about inclusiveness and diversity? And there's so much more that we should be thinking about. And we all kind of felt a bit stupid. Like, how have we not thought of this? We've worked with lots of, brands that are owned, Black-owned brands or POC, but we don't have a policy, or we don't have any parameters surrounding, the models that we use. It just kind of naturally happens. But I think that's the issue, is that we haven't put enough thought into what does it mean, what sustainability and ethics means. We haven't at all thought enough about diversity and inclusivity. So I think it's great, as you said, this is really bringing things to the head, and it's going to really orchestrate change, which is absolutely crucial.
I think the person that change is realising that there's a problem, and that from the time you've done that, then you're basically in the right direction to change. And I think that a lot of brands have having those initial conversations, or those initial thought processes, where actually maybe we do need to do things a little bit differently. And there is a market that we've actually neglected, because Black and Asian women spend a lot of money on makeup, beauty products. Apparently it was 7 to 1, but apparently it's a lot higher than that. And I think it's a market that's not really been very appreciated or well catered to. And I think while they have a lot of Black brands that come to prominence, a lot of mainstream brands could be in the danger of losing those customers, because they might say, well, you're not really appreciating me the way I need to be, looked after. So I'm not going to go and put my money where my mouth is and support my community. So that's another conversation that could be had or should be had.
Definitely.
That is very interesting.
And tell me a little bit more about, you mentioned events before. Obviously we're in a pandemic world, which is full of face masks and antibacterial sprays So with the content that you're doing, which, as I said, it's amazing, and anyone listening, if you don't already follow Brown Beauty Talk, do, and go and check out their site. But tell us a little bit more about how it works. Obviously, you've got this amazing content. How are you doing those now? What changes have you had to make through the pandemic?
Well, my strategy last year we were building up, we were doing quite a few events. We have an event on every 2 months. We work with a beauty brand, do a masterclass, either in their shop or do hiring events. So basically the whole idea would be to raise awareness about that brand. The last event that we did was with Urban DK, and that was in their shop in Westfield, Shepherd's Bush. So basically we had a makeover masterclass. They did like 2 looks and literally gave us an idea of how their products work on darker skin tones and sort of educate us about the brand, which was great. So the whole idea of that event was really brand awareness, share some tips and advice. So that's pretty much the sort of events that we did for the last 2 years. And this year we're going to do a lot more events, but also slightly larger events on a larger scale. But obviously because of COVID, we had to reevaluate our strategy. So while we were in a quarantine, we thought that we would revamp the website. So we spent our time doing that. So doing something productive. And then for the branding, something we kept on putting it on and off. So we literally spent the time doing that, working with a wonderful graphic designer and come up with our logos. And then we were ready to come up with the content and restructure the website as well. So make it a bit more newsworthy, because I think one of the problems that we had was getting the products sent to us. By the time the products came to us, by the time we tried it out, and by the time we put it on the website, it was kind of out of date.
Right.
So it wasn't really effective doing it that way. So we want to be more proactive, while before we were more reactive.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So this time we've got the content the way we want it, which is fantastic. So that was our strategy for this year. Moving forward, I am looking at online events, but I'm trying to figure out a way that they're going to work and find out what people want from us and the ways that we can actually fill the gaps. That's pretty much what I'm going for this year. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you've been very busy though.
Yeah, we have been actually. It's been quite good. It has been very bittersweet. It's kind of worked out eventually. Not the way I envisioned, but it's been quite fantastic. And as soon as the hairdressers and salons open, then because we had quite a lot of backlog of content that was quite retail focused, because we did quite a few salons and stores, like After Beauty, a fantastic store in Regent Street. We did a little review of that, and I was like, well, I can't publish that now. We had also, information about, how to how to make yourself look appealing while you're traveling, the kind of products you just put on your face while you're traveling abroad. Obviously that's not applicable now, so we really had to sort of like go through the content and make sure it was relevant to lockdown as well, because there's only so much hand cream you can write about, really.
Oh God, hand cream, don't get me started. That has been the dream of the pandemic though.
I know, really. Yeah, I know.
What's all of it? It's cool, fantastic.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, amazing. Tell us a little bit about, because I think, you are such an amazing resource for all of these incredible beauty brands, and the way, the content that you're producing and the resource is amazing. Tell us about some of your favorite brands at the moment. Who should people be looking at? Give us a little insight.
Sure. A brand that I've come across quite recently is Equi Botanics, a hair brand. Me personally, I love my skincare. Makeup I like, but hair care, I've always rejected my hair. I'm always the girl that has my hair in braids. So this lockdown, I say one thing I'll get out of it is I actually learned, I got to know my hair. Because I literally before I never used to sort of like spend any time on it. So this time I really kind of like worked on my hair, kind of learned how to make it look halfway decent, and also found out which products work on my hair. So I struggled a lot, because when I take my hair out of braids and I'd wash it, it would become very hard to manage. And then I had a conversation with my stylist, and she went, "You are using the wrong products. You need to use products that are moisturising." So I went and bought a brand that was recommended to me, and since then it's been very sailing. So Equi Botanics, it's natural. It's a British brand as well, so I would recommend that. Also, as a conditioner, I would use Dizziac. They do a fantastic conditioner, which I love as well. Makeup wise, MDM Flow, that's a fantastic brand. Eloise, I love as well. Skincare, I will have to stop at a couple, probably Superfacialist as well. Antonia Burrell, that's a fantastic face mask as well. And also Beauty Pie, they do some fantastic skincare as well. Yeah, and Fresh.
Amazing. Yeah, so everyone go and check out those brands. They sound amazing. I'm definitely going to do it after this. Oh, very exciting.
Very cool.
Check out those brands. They sound amazing.
Can you hear me?
I'm just going to do it after this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I think it just glitched a bit.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So let's talk a little bit about.
You hear me? I can't hear you breaking up. That's my reception.
Really? Okay. I can hear you and see you fine. Oh dear.
Okay.
Yeah. It might be a little bit of a. Maybe there's like a little lag.
Could be. Okay, carry on.
Okay, let's see if we can. I think we're just a bit lagging, but yeah. I'll go on to the next question. Okay, cool. So, let's talk a little bit about. So we're talking about COVID-19. I think it's quite interesting and something let's continue to talk about. Especially, I'd love to hear your thoughts on beauty. How are we going to see beauty changing? Are you seeing any changes in the beauty industry from the current pandemic? And where might this head? Are there things that are going to stay, or are we going to go back to normal? What are your kind of thoughts?
I think there are going to be changes. I think people are going to rely very much on shade matching resources like apps and fantastic local Slack or websites. It's like, obviously, it's going to be very hard to go into a shop and swatch a foundation. People aren't going to be very keen on that. So they will rely on that kind of facility. I don't know if it's called virtual reality or maybe more information or word of mouth. And so I think there's going to be more face-to-face consultations. I think your brands can offer those on a regular basis. And they will probably keep their clientele because a lot of customers don't know how to swatch themselves. So they'll rely on that kind of like that information. I think going wise, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the hairdressers. I can't see much happening there. I reckon the hairdressers will have to maybe cut down their appointments because they'll have to do the whole social distancing thing. That'd be another interesting aspect as well to go through as well.
Yeah, that's going to
I think there's quite a lot of different changes that will be made. I think that we'll see more small brands on the market as well. A lot of large brands realising that they've got to hire more people from backgrounds as well. So I think there's quite a bit of change to be had, but you know, I think people will still love beauty. There will be no shortage in the demand in that. Hello?
Oh gosh, my connection is really bad. Oh, I think my connection just dropped. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, hopefully I'm back.
You're back.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, you're back.
Sorry, I feel like I missed a bit of that, but yeah, because it was all a bit, my connection just went a bit funny. But that's fine. We can carry on. So you were talking a little bit about small brands. I think this is interesting. Sorry, go for it.
I think this is the moment for small brands to really capture the interest, capture their moment and really get their branding out there, because a lot of those mainstream magazines are looking to feature small brands. So I think this really is a time when people are obviously looking for different products to support, and magazines are looking for different beauty brands to sort of feature as well. So I think that's going to really open the market wide open and make it a lot more interesting as well. But also I think big suppliers like Boots and Superdrugs, I think it might make them rethink a bit about what they're going to do as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, Superdrugs have really sort of like launched a campaign where they've showed a lot of brands, if you don't cater for darker skin tones, then we might not be able to cater for you. So you know, so that's sort of like a scheme that they actually launched about over a year ago. So they've actually sort of done quite a lot of work in that. So it'll be interesting to see what Boots does as well. I'd like to see Boots implement an incubator scheme where they actually take on small brands for a year, give them some development training, mentorship, so they can actually give them an idea of what it's like to build a shop floor. Because sometimes being in a large store isn't as great as it sounds. It's expensive, it can be quite stressful, and you might actually get there pictures of, well, actually, I'm thinking a bit of retailing on my website, because it might not be the right space for you.
Yeah, no, that is true, that is interesting. So tell me a little bit about your retail experience then. So you seem to have some experience or background in the retail sector?
Yeah, my first job was at Marks and Spencer's when I was a teenager. 5 years. I worked on shop floor. Yeah, but I've done a lot of customer service as well. So yeah, quite experienced in that. Had some right lovely, well, interesting collisions of people. So yeah, it's been an experience.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. But I think that's a great idea, and someone's just commented as well. That's a good idea, the incubator scheme. I think that is a really great idea. I mean, is that something that you're lobbying for, or that you could push?
I did actually leave a comment on the Boots website, and I did have a comment back from one of the employees saying it's something that might be in the pipeline, but
interesting.
Might be.
Yeah, that would be amazing to see.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Yeah, it would be really fantastic if they did that. But you know, people are still quite keen to buy online. There's some fantastic online resources out there, so they also can push themselves forward as well and become a fantastic, you know, platform for people to buy niche products as well. Yeah. So there's room in the market for everybody, really.
Definitely. And then just so talking a little bit about small and big brands, and I agree, this is definitely an opportunity for small brands. Are there any brands out there? Because I think you touched on something really interesting. It's going to be difficult to try things on. It's going to be difficult and interesting to see how customers connect digitally. And yes, consultation's definitely the way forward. Are there any brands, small or big, that are doing things that you think are really helping? Like any interesting initiatives to help customers try or to somehow sample the products?
There is the app I talked to you about called Slap, basically. It's a shade matching app where you upload a picture of yourself, a selfie, and then they will automatically filter out brands that actually cater for your skin tone. So makeup brands such as Bobbi Brown, MAC, whatever, they'll literally just say, these are the brands that cater for you, and these are the foundation shades that will probably suit your skin tone. So that kind of cuts down a lot of the traffic. So that's a fantastic app that you can help. And so I think maybe L'Oreal had one quite recently where you could actually do online looks on a particular website and sort of see how certain products look on your face. So those are the kind of initiatives that I think will be quite fantastic, really, going forward.
Yeah, okay, amazing, great. Well, definitely ones to check out then.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very interesting as lockdown starts to emerge. I don't know actually how beauty businesses. In Boots, Superdrug, everyone right now, you can't try any of the makeup samples. But I wonder what the next step, or I wonder what the first step would be.
That would be very interesting to find out. Yeah, it would be really interesting. Obviously, online sales have boom, they've done quite well. For some people, amazingly. But obviously, sometimes you still need to try out a product, because I don't feel comfortable. I don't buy foundations online. I have to go into a shop and get it. So it would be interesting to see how that works out. It might actually end up where they actually stand next to you 2 feet away, 1 feet away, and just show you how to apply the foundation onto your skin tone, and then give you some expert advice. That might be the way forward.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, there'll have to be something, because like you said, you can't buy it online. There's no way you could get. Yeah, exactly. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, so I've got a couple more questions. Conscious of time, I know we're ticking along, but 2 more questions. So, so for independent beauty brands, do you have any tips or advice of how these smaller brands can stand out from the crowd?
Oh, okay. I would say get the basics right. Maybe invest in some PR training. Doesn't have to be anything expensive. Maybe like an hour, so that PR consultant can tell you what you need. Because I come across some brands where they don't have basics like images, high-res images. Some people don't know what a high-res image is. Press releases, that kind of stuff. And also some brands don't always get back to you when you need them to. So I would say that they probably need to just sit down with a PR person who can literally just give them a crash course on the basics of running your own business. Because some of them obviously can't afford a large PR bill, and they don't necessarily need that service. But I would say first things first is literally think like a business person. You've got your different chapters of your business plan. You've got your business sales, marketing, all your financials, but also you need your PR as well. So you need to get that all intact and realize you run the business. And also, decide whether you want it to be a hobby. if you want to be a business, and really sort of like act accordingly. That's what I would say.
Yeah, because they are very different things, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we get this a lot, or we get we get some amazing design. We work with so many incredible designers at LDC, and there are some that create such beautiful avant-garde and creative pieces, but they're not the pieces that people want to buy. They don't, they're missing that commercial understanding.
Yeah.
And it is, I totally agree, it's really understanding, is this a hobby business? Is this, a creative journey for you, or is this a business? Because if it's a business, there's that level of commercialism that needs, that just has to be there in order to make it viable.
I think that maybe that's why London Fashion Week has changed so much, because back in the day, every designer had their own distinctive look. But then now, when you go to London Fashion Week, you can't tell which designer is which, because sometimes the looks are quite similar. Because obviously they need to be quite commercial, so they need to make a living.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit of that. I think also the way that society interacts with fashion now, it's so much more casual than it used to be.
Yeah.
And it's also with it's much more street, it's much more relaxed. So it's just it's a factor.
Yeah.
But I also think as well that we're seeing so many more brands that are direct to consumer, and because of that, Fashion Week is losing its excitement, because you don't need to sell to a store, wait 6 months, and then send on.
Absolutely.
You can do it yourself, and you can create exciting, beautiful pieces yourself, and do commissions, and you don't need that platform of London Fashion Week. So I think it's so many things, but it's super interesting how Fashion Week especially has evolved and changed. And now
especially the platform where before you'd wait like 3 months to see the collections in the magazine, and now you see it like 3 minutes later on someone's Instagram live. So
exactly
transformed it, hasn't it?
Definitely. And I think it'd be interesting in September to see what happens. Because June was tricky. It's never been a huge fashion calendar, it's been men's. And it was all very soon, with the pandemic, and then suddenly I think a lot of brands were like, oh my God, it's too soon. And also there was everything about relevance and no more newness. Let's rethink the calendar. So I think until September it'll be interesting.
I think September will be I think that would go down quite well, because I think a lot of the collections have been streamlined anyway, and I think a lot of those poor fashion editors who run from show to show from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m, I think they will probably welcome the break. I reckon it'll probably be the biggest fashion week ever.
I definitely We've got an interesting question or a point, maybe interesting to get your thoughts on. So somebody has just said, I think brands need to trial more on a darker complexion, as the range is so limited. This is interesting and probably very true. What are your thoughts on this, or do you know any brands that are doing well here?
I think the ones that are doing well is a brand called Uoma Beauty. She does music. She reminds me very much of Fenty, where she just launched loads of foundations like it was nothing spectacular. I think if you're doing a foundation shade for a particular shade, you need to match on that skin tone. I have heard that some brands don't, which I find quite surprising. But it should be part of the norm, really.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they don't. How are you supposed to get it right if you're not actually swatching that particular skin tone?
Yeah.
I guess maybe as part of Black Lives Matter, this might be a way of them changing their habits and how they work and how they trial things. But then again, it all goes back to having staff at different levels in different backgrounds at different stages in the business that can actually guide you. And this really need to be tested on different skin tones. My skin tone.
Definitely, and I think this is something that as consumers we can use our voice more. If brands aren't, use social media, send a DM to the brands you love and say, hey, there's nothing for me here, there's a lot more people like me, time to change. This is, use your voice to orchestrate that change, because people will listen, and social media is now so powerful. So I would suggest messaging and DMing.
Yeah, definitely. Or speak to the store. They say if you go to a store and don't find a product you like, speak to the manager, and they can create a log, send it back to head office.
Definitely. Okay, so we're going a bit over time, so I'm going to do one more question, conscious to not keep you too long.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so last question. Let's end on a positive note. What are you seeing any positive trends or any kind of anything really positive that's coming through from the beauty industry that you want to shout about or talk about? Anything exciting and light and positive that we can finish on?
Yeah, just the way the beauty community kind of came together really, and were, even though it was a difficult subject, they were open to have that discussion, open to have that topic. I mean, in all those Instagram lives with different people from the beauty industry, talking about their, experiences, good and bad, and then people were quite open to listen to them and quite willing to offer solutions. For instance, Caroline Hirons and Ate when they had that conversation about racism in the beauty industry, the amount of people that tuned in and listened and actually went away and probably thought, I probably do need to, change my line of thinking. And also the Blackout Tuesday was massive. That was, even though some people were performative, to me, I thought it was fantastic just seeing everyone's Instagram grids go black. I just thought it was like a sense of unity for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I totally agree. That solidarity is crucial, and it now just needs to bring about change. Proper.
That's yeah, exactly. Pull up and change.
Exactly. Well, it has been really lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you very much. Bye.
Sorry. But yeah, thank you so much. Have a lovely afternoon. And just before you go, I think she's left. But to everyone still listening, as always, any feedback, comments, or questions, please do feel free to DM us here at Lone Design Club or Ronke herself on Brown Beauty Talk. Check out her site. It really is amazing. It's very inspirational. Great resource. So do have a look. And like I said, any questions, any ideas, anything you want to share with her or myself, please do. We love to have an open conversation discussion. And thank you so much for listening. And we'll be back tomorrow with another special guest. Thank you so much. Bye. Okay. Hi. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
That was great. Oh, can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, okay, great. That was really great.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
No, it was really good. It was really good. And it's being recorded, so we'll share the podcast when it's live, and hopefully we can, it'll pick up a bit more, it'll get a bit more traction, which will be good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great afternoon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much again for tuning in. Head to our website, lonedesignClub.com, and find more LDCFM podcasts, or discover more about our independent designers online.